Hello YouTube, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Paladin Plays City of Heroes, the only show on the internet where Paladin plays City of Heroes. And today we're going to talk about one of the most important characters in the Paladin Universe, the Jade Emperor Wu Fangchu. Wu Fangchu made his first appearance in Season 3 of The Mighty Paladin. That's the old show before the series was rebooted as The Immortal Paladin. In the new series, his first appearance is in Episode 40. In both series, he competes in Eris's Golden Apple contest. The story plays out very differently in each series, and I think both versions are good stories, but there are some major points that stay the same. 1. Paladin fights Dracula. 2. Paladin loses a hand. It grows back, but Wu keeps the original hand and uses it to make Paladin clones. Paladin personally confronts Wu Fangchu, and Wu comes in second, so he doesn't get a golden apple from Eris, but he still ends up getting one later. Before I made Wu Fangchu, I wanted to use the character Dr. Fu Manchu. I like using public domain characters in my stories, and I was already using Dracula and Eris, so I thought Fu Manchu would be cool, but I had to drop that idea when I found out that Fu Manchu isn't public domain yet. Some of the earliest books featuring the character have entered public domain, but the character is still owned by Sax Rohmer's estate. I still wanted to use an ancient Chinese warlord, so I created an original character inspired by a blend of Fu Manchu and Ming the Merciless. And I gave him a supporting cast that includes his daughter Ling Ling, inspired by a combination of Princess Aura, the daughter of Ming the Merciless, and Princess Ardala from Buck Rogers, so she's a force to be reckoned with on her own. Wu's personal bodyguard is Shere Khan, a brutal tiger man, who surprisingly is not inspired by Princess Ardala's bodyguard tiger man, who I had actually forgotten all about, but by tiger-style kung fu and numerous magical tiger people from Asian mythology, such as were-tigers and rakshasas, with just a touch of Wolverine and Sabretooth. I know that right now some of you are thinking, isn't this kind of racist? Well, let me explain. I grew up with Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon. I knew Fu Manchu from the Peter Sellers movie The Fiendish Plot of Dr. Fu Manchu. There are very few Asians around where I live, and I honestly never knew that these characters were considered racist stereotypes. I mean, look, they're not that different from these villains who were made by Asian people, and I could show a lot more characters like these. I got complaints about the character, but it was too late to sweep him under the rug. He was playing a major role in the story, so instead, I just decided to do everything I could to make him not be a racist stereotype. I put a lot of work into making him a complex character with real motivations. Eventually, he even became a sympathetic character, and more importantly, I made sure that he and his minions were not the only Asian characters. So, here's the story. Wu Fangchu is a 1,000-year-old warlord. He's kept himself alive all these centuries by using a magical elixir made from dragon blood. The dragon blood eventually turned his skin green, so his followers started calling him the Jade Emperor. When the communists took over China, Wu faked his death and went underground. He had done this more than once in the past to wait out difficult times after dynastic changes. His secret organization lost a lot of its land and became a criminal empire. He worked with the CIA for a few decades until the 1980s, when America started its war on drugs and broke ties with him. Along with trafficking drugs and weapons, Wu also created super soldiers and sold cat girls. This is why I ended up fighting him. Wu said he was working to free China from communism. I told him, you can't call yourself a freedom fighter while you're keeping slaves. And Wu said, tell that to Thomas Jefferson. Anyway, Wu fought a civil war in China and won. The southeastern part of China became the Jade Empire, named after Wu. and China was also forced to officially recognize the independence of Tibet and Taiwan. Wu got an improved elixir using my blood instead of dragon's blood, so he isn't green anymore, and eventually he got a golden apple from Alfheim and turned himself into a demigod. Then he forced me to marry his daughter, but Ling Ling got really confused. She thought Wu was going to start another war, and so to save the world she killed Wu and then killed herself, leaving me as the new emperor. Of course, Wu's a demigod. He's not going to stay dead much longer, and when he gets back, I'm going to step down. I just hope things will be better for everyone after that. In addition to Ling Ling, Wu has 2 other children. His oldest child is Sakura Gozen. She was adopted, which is why she couldn't inherit the throne when Wu and Ling Ling died. As emperor, I wrote a new constitution which makes her the heir to the throne. Sakura is going to get her own episode eventually, but if I let this one go without even mentioning her, then her creator, Anais, would fly all the way from Hong Kong just to beat me up. Okay, Wu Fangchu is a master of martial arts and a wizard, plus he got fire powers from a golden apple, and as a warlord he commands armies, so I could have gone in a lot of different directions adapting him to the game. Unfortunately, I could have gone in a lot of different directions is a nice way of saying I had a lot of hard choices to make. Making him a mastermind is off the table from the start because my personal playstyle doesn't work with mastermind class. I'm not saying it's a bad class, just that I personally don't like it. Since his most obvious powers are magic and fire, I decided to make him a dominator with illusions and fiery assault. Nearly all of the powers in the illusion set have really high energy cost, which is why I have those light blue enhancements on them. Those reduce the endurance cost. I put 1 on each, and that makes a huge difference. You don't want to put more than 1 of those on a power, though, because it's better to use your enhancements to make the powers not just cheaper, but more effective. You'll notice that I rarely use those light blues on damaging attacks. Not only do they usually cost less energy, but the really powerful ones have a long recharge time so you can recover endurance between uses. I find that the best way to save energy on damaging attacks is to boost the accuracy and damage. More damage means you don't have to use them as many times to take a target down. And as for accuracy, any time an attack misses, that's wasted endurance. As for Wu's martial arts, that kinda got minimized. He has Sands of Mu, which is a series of quick punches, and Incinerate is a fiery punch, but I haven't been able to do anything else yet. Eventually I'm going to give him the Fighting Pool Power set. There's just no way to give him a sword without changing his build and completely losing something else. And that cool iron fan you've seen him use on the show, that doesn't exist in City of Heroes.
Okay, so here's Wu Fangchu in Atlas Park, and I'm about to go into City Hall to show you something I recently discovered. Here we go, down through here, all the way to the end of the hall to the Department of Advanced Technology Application. Now, this guy tells you that you can't go in there because you're not strong enough, and that used to be true, but I recently found out it's not true anymore, because now, when you go in here, you automatically get changed to 50th level. Now, you don't gain all the new powers that you would have gotten over the time of progressing, but you do get the extra hit points, and your attack accuracy goes up to as if you were 50th level. But that's not the important thing about coming here, because frankly, you still should wait a while before you come here. But coming here has 2 advantages. First of all, as soon as you come here, you get a badge that called Entrusted with Secret, which gives you a Ouroboros portal. Now, let's see, you can't use the Ouroboros portal in this place, but I do have it, and it's here somewhere. Oh well, it doesn't matter. You go back. I can now open this portal and go to Ouroboros. Now, getting an Ouroboros portal gives you access to some new places in the game, and they're all really cool places to go. It also gives you access to certain missions you can't get anywhere else, and there's this one little explorer badge up here. If you go down here, there's another thing that looks just like an Ouroboros portal, but when you click on it, it gives you a choice of several different places to go, including an earlier version of Atlas Park, an earlier version of Galaxy City. All of these are earlier versions of places that no longer exist in this game. Atlas Park still exists, but currently it's very different from what it was like back when the game first started, and that's what the Echo Atlas Park is like. It's like traveling back in time, and that's what Ouroboros is all about. Now, why would I want to go back to what the game was like when it first started? Well, the exploration badges you can pick up in those places are different from the exploration badges you can pick up in the present time. And so you can go to all those different locations and pick up the exploration badges. Plus, the Echo Dark Astoria is just a fun place to adventure, because currently they've changed Dark Astoria into a much more dangerous place for very high-level characters, but the Echo Dark Astoria is like 24th to 30th level, and I like going there just to have fun. But another big reason for coming to Ouroboros is this. This is a list of extra missions you can only do by coming here. And they're broken up by level, but if you're too high level for a mission, then when you go into it, you get turned into what you were like at that level. Once again, it's like a time travel thing. This gives you a chance to go back and do stuff that you didn't get a chance to do while you were low level because you out-leveled too quickly, and now you want to go back and get some rewards like badges and such. Badges can be real useful. That's the reason you want all these Explorer badges. When you pick up Explorer badges, for most places, not the Echo places, it allows you to teleport to a place once you've gotten all the badges in that particular place. You just open up this little thing, the long-range teleporter comes up, and all of these places I can go to just by clicking on them, but the ones that say locked are places that I have not picked up all of the exploration badges for yet. So picking up all the exploration badges is useful. Plus, when you get all the badges for a particular place, in addition to unlocking the teleporter, it also gives you some reward merits. And reward merits can be traded in for valuable salvage. I'm going to go back to Atlas Park and show you where to trade those in. Okay, let's see. There are two places in Atlas Park to trade them in. One of them is inside City Hall. It's right over here. It's this machine. And You just click on whatever kind of category you want to see what you can trade it in for. I currently only have one merit reward because I keep trading them in. But there are all kinds of things. You can use these yourself or sell them in the auction house. The other place to trade them in is actually in the auction house. Now, the auction house is right over here. It's this big, mostly glass building. It's called Wentworth's. And you can open up a trade window by clicking on any of the employees. And this is the other merit vendor. In some places in town, merit vendors are individuals who dress in purple and yellow. But if you look at your map, you'll see that whenever there's a dollar sign, that indicates a place where you can buy something. And a merit vendor will be one of those dollar signs on most maps. This one right here that I'm mousing over is the start vendor. That's a place where you can pick up a bunch of free powers, and those powers are used to help you get through the low levels if you're more interested in leveling up quickly than in facing the challenge at every level. But not only does it make things easier, but sometimes it makes things just more suited to your character. For example, if you look under prestige powers, under attacks, there's a variety of powers you can choose from. Now, these up near the top I can't pick because each of them says you can only have one of the powers in these categories, and I've already got one. And as for Sands of Mu, I've already got that. And like I said, that is Wu Fangchu's martial arts move. And I use that for a lot of my martial arts characters. And when you're low level, Sands of Mu is often just going to be your most powerful attack, so everybody takes that. The Undead Slaying Axe is a real big disappointment. Nobody should take that. It's just pathetic. It's slow and doesn't cause much damage. Nemesis Staff is a very useful power, and if you happen to have a scientific origin or a natural origin, it causes even more damage. But if you have a magical origin or a mutant origin, you want to take the Black Wand, which causes more damage. They basically do the same thing. The Nemesis Staff looks like a giant lollipop, and the Black Wand looks like some sinister evil thing. So most people don't want to use it too much because it doesn't really fit most characters. But Dr. Weird has the Nemesis Staff, which... yeah, I know, he's magical, but he took the Nemesis Staff because it just looks better. Anyway, that's those. Also, there are some travel powers here, particularly under the jump category. Most people take the jump pack or the steam jump. It just really makes it a lot easier to get around, and if you don't have a movement power yet because you're real low level, it lets you reach some places that you just plain can't reach without it. And, some characters like to just go ahead and use the jump pack and don't ever take a movement power because that leaves them an extra slot open for a different power. As for the temporary powers I mentioned, these you have to actually pay influence for. And there's no limits on which ones you can get, although some of them do have limits on how many times you can buy the same one, because, they are temporary powers, and some people buy them more than once so that they'll last longer. And down here near the bottom of this category, Here we go, experience boosters. In this category, you could actually buy something that will increase the amount of experience you get from every reward you earn, but it will also decrease the amount of influence you gain. And you can choose the size of your bonus based on how fast you want to level up and how much influence you're willing to sacrifice. If you know tricks for earning influence, you can go all the way to the double XP booster, which gives you 100% bonus to experience and reduces your influence earnings by 100%. It's still worth it sometimes because you can sell things in the auction house and it doesn't affect that. It only affects influence earned from defeating opponents and mission rewards. Now, another thing I was going to mention is that I very seldom go to the auction house. And the reason for that is I found out that if you just type in your chat window /AH, wherever you are, except inside your own base and some missions, it will open up the auction house window. And that's really useful because some maps don't have an auction house on them, which is fine, it just doesn't fit in everywhere. But you don't always want to have to run back to a map that does have it every time you want to sell some stuff. So you can just type /AH, open up your auction house window, and trade from wherever you are, which is really nice. Also, when you get your inventory filled up with a bunch of salvage, you want to go ahead and sell some stuff so that you don't end up reaching the limit of how much you can carry and then wasting any new stuff that you find because you just can't get it. Now, a neat trick I have learned in the auction house is, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and sell both of these. I used to have to guess how much to sell these things for by looking down here and seeing how much other people are getting. And that's fine, but I found out recently if I just put a 1 there and post, it doesn't sell for 1, it sells for whatever the average is that it's going for right now. And I actually managed to get 1,000, which is higher than what I was seeing it selling for, which means that some people have been selling it for a lot more than it's currently going for. And I would have guessed way low based on what I was seeing in the display, but by clicking 1, and getting the average price, I got a lot more money. There we go. And see, these sold for 12,000, even though what was currently being offered was around 2,000. So, if the price goes up and down from time to time. But since selling it at 1 gives you the average price, you don't have to worry about if the price is currently low. Of course, you'll miss out on some high-price ones, but that's okay because it seems to me like the lows are more common than the highs, and I almost always get more influence by selling them this way than by trying to guess a price. Plus, since you're putting the same price on all of them, all you got to do is drag and click post instead of taking the time to guess what a price is, so it makes it a lot faster. The reason I'm selling a bunch of stuff at once right now, even though you guys are watching me, is because I think I'm going to get, oh yeah, you can't sell reward merits here, because I think I might get a badge if I sell a bunch of stuff at once. You don't always get badges for selling a bunch of stuff at once. You get badges when you have sold certain amounts of things. There we go. Now let's go here, get all the influence, and I did get a badge. So now I can go to badges. Alright, it says I've sold 100 items on the consignment house. Yep, you get badges at certain benchmarks like that when you've sold like 10 items, 50 items, 100 items, 200 items, and those badges often increase the size of your inventory, allowing you to carry more stuff. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to do was let you see Wu Fangchu in action. So let's pick out where I want to take him to look for a fight. Let's see. So many places to go. Let's see, I'm 26th level, so let's go to Independence Port. Alright. Independence Port is the longest map in the game. Long map. And it's inhabited by 3 main groups of bad guys. The Tsu, which is a generic Asian villain group based largely on a combination of the Yakuza and the Tongs. The Family, which is basically an Italian gang, and the Freaks. The Freaks are a cyberpunk gang. In addition to those 3 gangs, sometimes you can find a giant monster here called Luska, and I'm going to look for Luska because Luska is cool to look at. And if I should happen to find it, I'll show it to you. But I don't want to just bore you to death with flying around, so let's show you how Wu works. Let's see. First of all, I make that guy fight his friend using my deceive power. I forgot to turn myself invisible so this guy sees me. Oh well, we'll just blind him. There, don't see me so much now, do you? Oh wait, actually, it didn't blind him. Sometimes it works. Let's make an illusionary monster to fight him. That's my phantasm. There we go, I blinded him that time. He's tough. Might need more help. So I'll summon my spectral terror. There we go. Things are getting better now. There we go. Let's see. Now this time I remembered to turn invisible. But before I rush over there, I'm going to rest a minute. In order to rest, I have to turn off both my flying powers and then click the rest power that's in the bottom corner. And that makes my health recover. Okay. Now, I really only need to use hover. Flight is for moving fast. Hover has a big defense bonus attached to it, which is why you want to have that on when you're fighting. Ooh, that guy's a real high level monkey buck. There we go, got him on my side. Let's try this guy. Maybe I can get him to fight on my side. Yeah, I did. Now I got two of them fighting for me against each other. There we go. Okay, so now the purple one's the only one left. Let's bring in the cavalry. Because he's a tough guy. Oh, he's trying to get away. He heals fast. That's what those little yellow, green 11s on him are. That's him recovering energy, but as you can see, it's not recovering as fast as we're taking him down. There we go. And that's usually how Wu fights. He will mind control one or more of the bad guys while he's invisible, get them fighting each other, and then join the fight after they've weakened themselves. Let's see. I don't see Luska in this area, so let's head up further north. Now, my map is dark because I haven't been to Independence Port with this character before, so it's hard to see. But these little spots, these dark patches on the map, are places that Luska might appear. And then the reason I'm not going directly towards them is because that big thing is in the way. That's actually another city zone that's walled off in there, named Terra Volta. I don't know what they were thinking when they made Terra Volta. Very few people ever go there, and when they do go there, they usually grab some exploration badges and leave. Let's see, Luska may not be up right now, but there is one more place to check. Since she's not in this area, she's sometimes up in the far northeastern corner of the map. I haven't told you what Luska is because I would really like to surprise you with her if she is actually on the map. And if she's not, well, then I'll tell you what she is. But at some point, one of my characters will show you a bunch of the giant monsters that are on the map. And yes, I just gave it away. Luska is a giant monster, but you don't know what kind. There are a lot of different giant monsters on this map. Well, not on this map. There's a lot of different giant monsters in this game. That's what I meant to say. And it doesn't look like she's here. Okay. Luska is a giant octopus. I wish Luska was here so I could show her to you because she is freaking awesome. But she's not here right now, so just that's something for you to look forward to. If you don't play the game but are watching these videos for some reason, maybe because you like my other content, then, well, you'll get to see Luska eventually. And if you do play the game, then this is where you can find her on this map, on these little blue dots. She's not always there, but when she does appear, it'll be in one of those places. Anyway, I'm not sure who I'm going to do next episode. If you watched the first episode of this show, you probably got to see all of the characters that I had at that time. I've made some more since then, but just going off that list, if there's a particular character you would like to see me do an episode about, leave a comment and let me know. If I get different comments, I'll just put those characters at the top of my list and make sure that I get all of them before I go on to other people who didn't get requested. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff that everybody has to say these days. And I'll see you next time.